Hey guys, it's Adrienne from Crafty Little Gnome, and this is the next video in my series on my kitchen cabinet refacing project. I'm working with fastcabinetdoors.com on this project. They have provided me with new doors, but before I can paint and put on the new doors, I need to take off the new doors, and I also wanted to paint the inside of the cabinets. So I've got a paint sprayer. The one here I'm using is from Wagner. It's a basic indoor-outdoor paint sprayer. You don't have to thin the paint, so that's always a bonus. And I've actually left the old doors on for now because it's going to help with the overspray. I put down some plastic here. Those are just trash bags to help again with the overspray so that it doesn't get on the counter. But I found with this model that there isn't like a ton of overspray. It's really not that bad at all. But you definitely want to have that on there just for protection. So I'm just going to plug in the machine. And the paint sprayer makes it take about 2 seconds. So I'll just show you quickly how I do it. And for the outside of the cabinets, I'm actually going to be just using a brush and roller. That way I don't have to put plastic around the entire room. I just think it's going to be easier just to go in there. And when you have the cabinet doors off, you'll actually see that there really isn't that much surface space on the outside of the cabinets. It's pretty much all door. I'm going to be spraying the new doors that I've got to put on, so we'll go over that in a bit. But first I'm just going to quickly go through and do the inside of the cabinets. So to prep everything, I obviously took everything out of the cabinet. I just used some cleaner and wiped everything down so that it was clean with no, spider webs or gunk on them. And after that's dry, you're ready to go. So let's do it. So as you can see, it's pretty simple. It goes super fast with the paint sprayer. And I'm really happy with this paint sprayer. It's actually the first one that I've used, and I have bad wrists, so anytime I can not have to use, a paint roller or a brush, it's definitely better, because otherwise the next day I'll just be dying. Guys, so the inside of the cabinets is dry, and I just wanted to show you real quick what I'm going to be using on the outside of the cabinets. So what I wanted to do first is fill in the little holes where the old cabinets were attached, and I'm just using a bit of all-purpose spackle paste and my little trowel here. It's a paint scraper, whatever you can use, little scraper thing. And I've just filled in the holes, and I've also cleaned the outside of the cabinets really well. The thing I like to use to clean is crud cutter. This is a concentrated formula, but you just mix it with water and put it in a spray bottle. And I'll usually use that with a Mr. Clean Magic Eraser. I find that's the best to get rid of any grease or oils on the cabinets. And you want to do that before you start painting. Let it dry really well, and then you can go on and paint. So the paint I'm using is Valspar Cabinet Enamel. It's a semi-gloss. I got it at Lowe's, and it is self-leveling. It covers old finishes. It's basically made for cabinets and doing jobs like this. It's a little bit more pricey. 1 gallon was about $50, so I'm hoping that 1 gallon will be enough to do all of the outside of the cabinets and then also spraying the cabinet doors. I'm not going to spray the outsides of the cabinets with the paint sprayer. I'm actually going to use a brush and roller. I'm using Purdy brand and just a mini roller. And this is meant for smooth surfaces. It's a good idea not to skip out on the roller and the brush that you're using. Even though it's self-leveling, you still want it to have a nice finish. So, and I mean, you just need a little one here. It's super easy. You just put it in here, and then I just get the inside corners here. I'll use my little brush for that as well. So this will be really fast. After you do your first coat, you want to let it dry for 24 hours. Let it dry really, really well. And then use a little sandpaper really fast just on the outside, just to get down any like little bumps that there might be. It's going to go quickly. This is a 2000 grit. It's pretty much the finest that you can get. And then you can do one more coat. It should only take about 2 coats to do it, and then just roll it on again. And after I do all my cabinets here, I will be ready to spray the doors and put the doors on. So we'll go over that next. Okay, so I just want to go over a little bit about the cabinet painting process. I've already done this one mostly, so I'll just explain how I did it. So this is the back side of the cabinet, and I went ahead and I used my paint sprayer for it. I brought all of my cabinets outside. And I used my Wagner paint sprayer, and I put them down flat, and then I sprayed them from overhead. So the paint sprayer, it's pretty simple. You just pull the trigger and spray it. A couple things to keep in mind is that you always want to keep it moving, and you want to start the sprayer and pull the trigger. You want to have it moving before you start and pull the trigger so that it's already moving and you don't get a big splotch on whatever you're working on. So what I did for the cabinets is when I was spraying, I went into this little indent first, then I went around the outside, and then I went up and down through the middle panel, and then I let it dry completely. I sanded it very lightly with my 2000 grit sandpaper, and then I did another coat. And that actually leaves a really nice finish. Once again, I'm using its Valspar cabinet enamel, and I bought it at Lowe's. So, and it was about $50 for 1 gallon. And that should be enough to do my entire kitchen, which is about 30 cabinets. So I wanted to spray the tops or the front side of the cabinets, except the weather has been really bad. It's too cold outside and it's been raining. So I've been using a brush and roller, and what I did is I've got my table set up inside. So I've got these little cups here. These are just little paper Dixie cups, and I actually put them on the table and put the cabinet down. This way they're not flat, and I can actually get the edge of each cabinet, and it just lifts it off the table a little bit. What I ended up doing first was I took my roller and I just went around the perimeter of the cabinet first so that it would dry faster, really, so that I could move them. If I needed to move them later, I could just pick them up from the sides and move them. What I did next was I had a little tiny brush, and because these are beadboard cabinets, I would just went into all the little grooves and used the little brush to get into the edges. After that was done, I went through and used my roller and just got over the whole thing. So this paint is not supposed to be, or it's supposed to be self-leveling, but I did find that a little bit of the brush strokes do remain. So once again, between coats, you want to use just a really light sandpaper just to get rid of any grooves. And then I would always finish off with the roller. So even if you're doing, getting in there with the brush, just go over it with the roller after. It'll help smooth things out. For the second coat that I'm about to do on everything, I shouldn't need to use the little paintbrush because I already went in the first time and got all the little details. So the second coat should go really quick. I'm just going to go over everything again with the roller. If the weather was nicer outside, I would just take them outside and spray them. But since I can't do that, the roller works just as fine. It's just a little bit more work. So that's one way to do it.